Welcome back to Laura's Design Studio. We are going to be doing a casting powder project with a coaster. This will show up on some, I don't know which one at this point, some Wednesday video. Now, you guys have seen me do this. The difference is today I'm going to make it all one color because, like I said, we are testing something out that I've been wanting to do. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to speak on something that's been weighing on me. You've heard two other channels speak of this. I have kind of kept quiet up until now because I am completely upset with myself that there were all the signs there and I did not, absolutely did not see them. I let this person just completely snow me and get me into stuff that I never wanted to be involved in. So, that being said, I'm going to continue this little story while I'm mixing up my powder, and you guys will see everything I'm doing. So, this has been going on for a year, which even makes me more sick about this situation. A year ago, approximately, I became friends with another YouTuber. One of the first times I actually talked to her, I was on the phone with her for 6 hours, letting her cry and carry on about the situation. She had been on another YouTuber's channel. I'll just say it. She's been on Michelle. She was on Michelle's channel. She and Michelle were friends. They considered each other friends. According to her, you know, they done everything, went out to dinner together, she was on the channel, everything. And then, like, Michelle dropped her once she started her channel. And I fell for this hook, line, and sinker. So as this last year has progressed, I hope I have enough for this coaster. So, and this is blackish green. I was told stuff that supposedly Michelle was doing that was just evil, unacceptable, and I couldn't believe, because I was a fan of Michelle. I was a member of her channel. I sent her stuff that she still uses today. I see it in her videos all the time, one of which is a scribe. You know, I got her on Andy's channel for a live to try and give her exposure to other, to possibly, you know, people in the UK. And I allowed this person to turn me against her. And without even giving her a shot to say her side. Over the year, I then became friends through this person with Mary at Resin Me Up. We were put in the same situation where Mary was also being told not the same thing, but similar to what I was being told. But of course, at the time, we didn't know that because I did not know Mary in that sense. But then this person had a group chat with us in it. Mary, and it was the three of us, Mary, myself, and this other person. Stories became very weird. I'm now being told by this other person, that the original person, that Mary is mentally unstable, and now Mary and I are talking more and more. Well, it just so happens one day she messaged, or I messaged her. I'm not sure who messaged you, but the bottom line is we ended up privately talking without the other person, and Mary and I were becoming more and more suspicious of stuff. And then we started comparing notes, and slowly but surely we are finding out that we're being given two very different stories, and things are really not adding up. I think both of us had our suspicions separately, but then when we came together, it was very apparent that we were being manipulated. And sadly, one of the major things was not, we were being manipulated in all kinds of ways, but one of the, that's pretty color. Oh, there's a lump. Let me grab that. One of the major things was against Michelle more and more. And finally, it kind of came to a head where we found out, or had our suspicions, that this person, that the stuff that she said about Michelle was not true. She was actually talking to her behind our backs, and Michelle thought that they were still friends. Well, when all this came to a head and we're really questioning this person about everything, she got angry and messaged me and told me, oh, we need to stop this, you know, you need to talk to Michelle now, because apparently she's decided to, you know, give, yeah, I'm trying to find another mold. Give me a second. She's now kind of admitting that she's been talking to Michelle all this time, because of course, you know, Mary and I have, I don't know if this will fill it up, but this is what I'm going to put it in, and we'll see. If I have to make a little more, I will. This is becoming very apparent. She ends up basically saying, I'm going to mix a little more, I believe. She basically ends up saying that we need to talk to Michelle. All right, I'm not going to mix anymore. I'm just going to scrape this, and I think we'll be fine. And I don't think she ever thought we would actually talk to Michelle, because she had turned us so against Michelle. And I think that she thought even if we did talk to Michelle, we would never believe Michelle over her. Well, I finally told Mary, I said, you know what? I got to find out the truth. And I decided to contact Michelle. You know, mind you, this person had been telling me that I should contact Michelle all this time. So I did. I sent Michelle an email and I asked her if she would be willing to talk. And she messaged me back, even though, you know, I had put out there about her new product and it wasn't good, and I was told to do that by this person because we had to stop this evilness, you know, all this good stuff. And Michelle was kind enough, because she definitely didn't have to. She was kind enough to hear me out. I'm cleaning up now. Lo and behold, I found out stuff that was going on that side of things. And I then talked to Mary, told her what I found out, told her how, you know, what Michelle is saying is way more like the truth than nobody's talking to you. And so we then did a three-way call with Michelle. Mary heard her out, just like I did. And then we kind of confronted the other person on things. And, you know, it was very obvious that the truth was on Michelle's side and not on the other person's side. It was very, very obvious. I have apologized, admitted to everything that I did. I have apologized to her and Dawn, and they have graciously accepted my apology, which, like I said, they had no reason to. I ended up deciding we needed to put a stop to this whole thing. I asked Michelle and Dawn if they would be willing to be on a three-way phone call with the other person. And they said yes. And so I told them whether or not, you know, you want to chime in, I need to do this for me. I need to tell her that the gig is up and that I know everything. And, you know, that way you know exactly what I'm saying to her. You know, it's totally your option whether you want to say anything, but I want you to hear everything. And so I did. And this person, well, you know, sorry I hit you guys. This person, it became very apparent to Michelle and Dawn that this person had been lying to all of us. To me, to Mary, to Michelle, and there was also a component of this where I could not figure out, after being monetized, I'm putting stuff away, so don't mind me. After being monetized, I, at first I had brands that were willing to work with me, one of which was Resiners. They sent me their Halloween package with some UV resin, which I really liked. I did a review on. They also sent me the little hand mixer that they have, which I love. I use it daily, and I did an entire review on that. when I sent them that video, they seemed to be really pleased with what I had done. I was even earning little, but some commission off of them. And then all of a sudden I was being ghosted by them and couldn't figure out what I had done. And so then this person told me that Resiners didn't want to work with me. And this wasn't the only company, but this is the most extensive company that I had started a relationship with. And I didn't know what I had done wrong. So this person told me that the reason they didn't want to work with me is because when I did videos, you could see like my chest area. All the time, mind you, it's covered. It's not like I'm out there flaunting. But that was, and I was humiliated and devastated. So much so, I sent a complete apology to Resiners. And while they did not admit that that was a reason, they did lead me to believe that there was something else being said about me. So that's a relationship I haven't been able to repair. Luckily, Into Resin was another one, and luckily they, at this point, are still willing to work with me. Craftor had been willing to work with me since before I was ever monetized. And that relationship is in place, but there are companies out there that now don't want to work with me because of whatever this person has said to them. So I've been very angry at myself for believing all this, angry at myself for being pulled into it, and very angry that this person has now messed with any potential company relationships. So, like I said, Michelle has said stuff on her channel about this whole thing. Mary has said stuff on her channel recently about this. And I just had to calm down and try not to be emotional about it, which is hard because I lost somebody who I thought was a friend. Not that that's at this point I'm glad that it's all come to light. But just so everybody knows, Michelle and I are fine. Mary, Michelle, and I are fine. We talk, and for that I'm very thankful. But it's taken a toll on me mentally. So that is the story. And that is all I'm going to say about it at this point. I'll bring you guys back when it's time to get this out of the mold and try out what I have in my head. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay guys, we're back. We're going to demold this and get on with the experiment. This I will not demold. It does need some more in it. So I will just put extras, and I still have this drip tray going on. So but we are going to unmold this and I just want you guys to understand, I am not angry with any of the companies. They are companies. They're there for business purposes. And, you know, they have to go where the numbers are. This person has way more numbers than I do. And that's just a fact. And, you know, if I get to work with other companies in the future, I'm cutting my stencil because I want it to fit in there. That's great. If not, I'm good with, you know, having the 2 relationships I do with Into Resin and with Bomb Crafter. And if that's all that ever want to work with me, I'm okay with it. You know, this is on me. This is something that I should have caught a long time ago. And like I said, they're companies. They have to go where there is business. And they have to go with the numbers. All right, guys, I cut off the excess in this one because I want to be able to have this flat. So, this, of course, is still wet. I have not dried it out or anything like that. What I'm going to do is try and see if I can tape this down somehow, just so it doesn't move. Now, I don't know where I can tape this, but I'm going to try. You know, I think the reason that my relationship was salvaged with Into Resin is because Michelle actually told them, you know, what was going on. So I think that that helped out. And for that, I am really grateful that she, you know, had exposed to this person. Okay, that's not going to tape down. Yeah. All right, we're just going to wing it with it, and hopefully I can hold it down enough it doesn't move. But what I am now going to do is I am going to mix up. This is kind of after you guys saw me do what I call the no paint paint on the double-sided wreath that I did. I'm going to put a little bit of paint in there. I am mixing this with this clay glaze. Woo! It's a gloss varnish, and the ingredients are actually it actually has resin in it. Resin, thickener, and water is what this is made out of. So I am going to pour some of that in there. I'm also going to put a little bit of white mica in there. Not much, just a little bit. And I want a little bit of shine or glimmer, so I am going to put a little bit of the Eye Candy Glimmer Ghost Gold. So there's my mixture. I'm going to take a brush a small one. And we are going to just do this. I'm just going to go over the stencil. This is still wet, so what I'm hoping is that it will give me the design and hopefully not leak too much, because I'm not like caking it with this mixture. Today is Friday, what is this, the 12th? My days run together. But I'm hoping, I thought the things I ordered kept saying they weren't going to be here until next week, but everyone I checked on today, I should get deliveries today of those items, and if I do, you guys will get a large haul video, and it will involve some a purchase from Resiners, which is the G3. Yes, I purchased it. They did not send it to me. Like I said, my relationship with Resiners was essentially destroyed. Doesn't mean I don't like their products. So I will be using that from here on out. Get rid of this horrible heat mat that has bubbled beyond bubbling. It's been needing to be replaced, and I debated for a while on whether I was gonna buy another heat mat or if I was gonna buy the G3. In the end, because I do, you know, my son and I are toting my large projects to craft markets is can be very tiring. So I am getting into more jewelry, and so then I will also be doing that smaller type of stuff. Like, I'm gonna try not to keep doing like 20 different molds at one time. get better with how much I mix. I always seem to have like a ton of extras. I mixed up way too much of this. That's okay. I'm not even sure it's gonna work. These stencils I got delivered yesterday. They're a Vine program thing, and you would not believe the stack of stencils that I got from them. I mean, there had to be like 100. I split the pack in half, and I'm making up a box for Mary, and I split it in half because there was no way I was ever going to use all of those. And I think they're all different. I didn't see duplicates, but I threw the other part in Mary's box. All right, I am going to get out heat gun, and I will pause you guys because it will be very loud, but I am going to go over this with my heat gun. Okay, one of the things I want you guys to notice is look at this part that has been hit with the heat gun. Now, I mentioned this on the original video that I did about these colors, that I thought it was crazy that when they start drying out, they become more intense. I mean, look at the color difference in the thing that was in the spots that were hit by the heat gun and the spots that were not. These colors are really weird. I'm not mad at it, believe me. I like the fact that it's doing this, but I have never had colors do that. So this is a whole new thing for me. And these are the ones that you guys saw me haul them. Hold on, I'll show you the box. I went out, Nicole and I have been trying to find, that's Nicole from Blue Elephant Gifts, trying to find colors that work in eco resins but are give you lots of different colors. Resincrete has great products for eco. I use them all the time, but it's limited colors. So this one was this is a water-based. It is cosmetic grade. So you can use this in soaps and everything else. Now, the bottles aren't very big, but I also have not used a whole lot of color in it. But you get a lot more colors. This is 20 colors. And you get a lot of different ones that you would not get with like Resincrete. So I'll show you the back to show you all the different colors that you get. There it is. So you have a red, a sunset red, a brick red, a purple, orange red, sunset yellow, lemon yellow, green grass, fruit green, dark green, blackish green, blue green, sky blue, dark blue, Toro purple, grape purple, pink, cherry red, coffee brown, and black. And so far I used, on the pour I did the other day, I used sky blue, grass green, and what was the other one? Pink. I used the pink in that pour. And today we used the, which one did I use? Dark green? No, I used blackish green. And like I said, it's becoming, you can definitely see the difference in colors the more it dries. So they're kind of interesting. I am going to put another coat on this. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Let me just tell you, I am thankful for the friends that I do have on here. Those that are, you know, true friends. The collaboration from Slay a Tray, I'm grateful for. The collaborations for the Friendship Express on Saturdays that I'm very grateful for. Mary and I have done collabs, very grateful for those. You know, like I said, I am not mad at companies. They are companies. They have to go where, you know, it's gonna get them the most. And you know, I'm not stupid to that fact. So, you know, there's nothing that bad that I have to say about the companies. I mean, she did what she did. Like I said, I'm more pissed off at myself for not seeing through it sooner. I consider myself to be a good judge of character, and I fell for this one hook, line, and sinker. Like I said, it was going on for a year of me being manipulated and told horrible things about people. And it was at the point where this person is like fatal attraction. That's the only person, that's the only way I can describe this. You know, you're either friends with her or friends with no one, and she will attempt to destroy any friendships that she has, regardless if she's friends with the other person or not. She just doesn't want you to have anybody else as a friend. And if it wasn't for the fact that Mary and I kind of went off and talked on our own and started comparing notes, I wouldn't have had any friends left at this point. So those of you that, you know, have stuck through this, thank you. I do appreciate it. And all I can see is where this goes. And what the hell? I don't know what that was, but okay, you can see this color is becoming more intense as it's sitting here drying. They're weird. That's all I can say is they're weird. I never had anything like this.
Please unlock the device to continue.
Nobody is talking to you, Alexa.
Please unlock the device to continue.
she's possessed. I am going to hit this with the heat gun another time, and then we're going to pull it off and see if it even worked. At this point, who knows what's underneath there. Okay, I just want you to notice that color. Remember, I used a blackish green. It looked almost mint when I pulled it out. Matter of fact, let me check the bottom. Well, the bottom's starting to get warm, so it is changing too. But, and even this one sitting over here is getting more intense as it sits there. These are the weirdest colors. I'm not mad at it, believe me. I was looking for colors that were, you know, intense and gave more options, and I have to say, these are doing it. Let me pull this up and see if we have anything. I gotta pull it straight up. Interesting. Like I said, that glaze does have resin in it. Let me pull up these little pieces here. Tweezers would probably be a better item to use. Where are some tweezers? I have like 500 pair. Where are they? Why is it I can never find one of these people? I put it in a very safe place so I know where it's at. The problem with that is, then I forget where that very safe place is. Now, I just had something that came that had very long tweezers in it. What was that? Alright, well. I am now going to, now I don't know if I'll be able to get this off the stencil or not. We'll see. It appears to be getting more intense. I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun again and put you guys on pause. Okay, let's stay and try and get these out of here. Even though I can't find a pair of tweezers. Because you know I put them in a safe place. There's that one. A place where not even I can find them. But I do want you to notice how dark this green is getting just in the drying process. get the loose stuff out of there so I could see what was left. Now, I don't know whether this has really worked or not, but there is, I think, a jumping off point here where you can take this idea and try it out. Hold your ears. Sorry, guys. One thing I am going to do is I am going to put a layer of resin in here. I am trying. There are some blurred lines in here, and I think it's because that mixture got up under the stencil. So I think you could prevent that with making sure that stencil is down more. Now, one of the things I thought about trying, but didn't know how I was going to accomplish that, but I do have an idea now, is I should have put the stencil down, then poured the casting powder. You just have to make sure that stencil is down and in, you know, the right place. Pour the casting powder. That would at least give you the indentation of this, and then maybe go over that. So I'm going to try that next. But I don't think this is a total fail, because I think that we've got a little bit of something out of it. I am going to put a coat of epoxy over the top of this, but I'm going to try and get it completely dried out. Because obviously, you know, this color is becoming more and more intense. I mean, there's the original color right there that we poured. And now we're at this stage. I'm gonna take the heat gun to this on the back a little more and see if we can get this dried out enough to put a little bit of resin, epoxy resin on top. Pausing you. Okay. Yes, we are getting more and more intense here. I'm gonna let that sink cool off for a minute. I'm gonna see, can I pull this? So like I said, this clay glaze is made with resin, so I don't know, you know, what goes into that, but let me take some alcohol and see if this will come clean, or if it's not going to be reusable. Figured we might as well try. Oh yeah, it's coming clean. Well, it seems to be. Parts of it definitely are. Cannot wait to get rid of this mess because it's causing me problems not being level anymore. And believe me, these things for a normal person would last quite a while. The problem is that my heat mat is on every single day, at least once, if not twice a day, depending on what project I am doing and how many layers and how much I cure, you know. So yes, it did come off. You can reuse the stencil. Now, here's what I want to do. Well, first of all, I need a drink, so. Got to fill up my water here. I am going to put a layer of a top coat of resin. What I want to see is what this color looks like with the wax. And this is dried out. I don't know what that orange is. Is that orange from the gold? I'm not sure. I'm not mad about it. Maybe because I'm heat gunning it is where that orange is coming in. Because this one, while the color is becoming darker and darker, I don't see any of the orange in it. So, this could be from the heat gun. Huh, interesting. Look at that design. Now, I'm trying to get in all the spots. That design has kind of popped out more. So, I am going to take I'm going to have to message Nicole and tell her what I've found with these colors, because it's just so weird. I have been doing eco resin for quite some time now, and I have never gotten a set of colors that did this. knowing what I know now, I didn't have to put as much of that color in there that I did. I definitely have a glitter in there. I don't know if you guys, if that'll show up on camera. But, alright, I am going to go through with the rest of my plan. And that was to mix up a small amount of epoxy and pour it over the top, just to see if it brings out that design more or not. This I'm just going to throw away because I don't need it. Stencil, perfectly fine to reuse. Like I said, I think some of those spots are where it wasn't stuck down enough. But I think when I try this again, I think what I'm going to do is actually lay that stencil in the coaster first. Try and make sure it doesn't move when I pour the casting powder in. And then try it that way. Because we definitely have a design. And it's not coming off. But I think where some of this is where it got up under that stencil. And I don't know that the second coat did anything because, as you saw when I pulled this out, it was covered in, you know, paint and whatever resin that clay glaze is made with. So I'm not sure that the second coat needed to even be put on there. I have lots of ideas now. All right, I'm going to put you on pause one more time. I'm going to mix up some epoxy and we're going to see what it looks like once we get some epoxy in there. Be right back. Okay, I mixed up 100 milliliters of Bond Crafter 1:1. I'm not going to use that much, but I do have 2 trays back here that need to be, you know, filled up, so any extra will just go in there. Here is the progress on this little tray. You see that color is just becoming darker and darker and darker. I'm not mad at these colors. I'm just amazed, but hey, whatever. Let's see what this one will look like under some resin. I'm gonna let it sit there for a minute. I definitely am going to be trying this again in a couple different ways because I think that this, I'm kind of liking it. I just have to, and I think I'm going to do what I said about putting the stencil down first and pouring the casting powder over the top. That'll probably be the next jump off point that I'm going to go to. Just to see if I can get this. I like how subtle this is. My problem is where those lines got blurred, where it looks like underneath that it seeped through. So if I can figure out a way to really make that stencil stick. But I think it's kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna let that sit there for a second. Let me pull this tray over here. And we're gonna do some alcohol inks in it. That's what the initial one was a color you guys will recognize. It was, I think, the red brown from another video that I did. And since then, I had some clear left over the other day, so I just threw some alcohol ink in it and poured it. And that's kind of what I'm gonna do again. I'm just gonna put some alcohol ink down. That was red. Here's some orange. No, that first one wasn't red. I don't know what it was. Oh, it was yeah, I do. It was the red, gold. Red, gold, red, and orange. And then I'm gonna throw a little bit of white in here because this tray was never full. There was like bare spots, so I'm wondering if I can get this white to come through and kind of look, don't know what it'll look like. But we're gonna work on it. Today is, you know, let's do experiments. Not sure that this will fill up the tray, but if it does, it does. And you'll be seeing a demold on it in another video. Or I'll be adding to it if it's not all the way full. This was one I got through the Vine program. So it was a review item. It's a cute little tray. It's got a really thick edge on it. Whoa. Did not realize that was... I just... Okay. This isn't going to do anything for the front because the front has already had. But I wanted to do this background color, give it a little mix to come through in the areas that were not fully done on the first pour, and on the second pour were still clear. Get out the magic spatula. I think once this cures, we can demold it then. Where? This one is now full. Okay. Let's bring this one in. Okay, hold your ears for a second. I'm gonna take a heat gun to both of these real quick. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna turn on the heat mat and see if I can get these guys cured, and then I can show you the end result of this, and we can demold this. I'm leaving that other little tray in there if I have some extra clear resin or I make up another batch. I will just fill that one up. Right now it's a little thin, so. But I think this has potential. And I'll be working on it. But I'll see you guys when we're ready for a demold and see what the end result is. Talk to you soon. Back. This is what it looks like now. You can see the design a lot better. I don't know what this is. I don't know why that orangey color happened. But I am gonna take some wax and let's see if, yes, when my wax gets low enough, I store the sponge inside the can. But there, like I said, I am going to try this again in a different manner. And because I think it has potential. I think it has potential to be pretty good. Because the parts that look good look really good. This is what I don't know. I don't know if that was because I heated it up too much. Then I would think that all of it would be. I'll have to go back to my video, but I'm pretty sure I just mixed in one color. Yeah. Did I put any ghost powder in it? See, I don't remember what I did. I will go back and look and try and figure this out. But the parts of the design, like this part, I really like that. So I'll see if I can improve on this. And I told you guys we would unmold the one that was been sitting here, and I filled it up with the clear. And this is what this tray looks like. And you can definitely tell there's been more than one pour on there. Yeah. So there's the bottom. I need to trim this edge with the deburring tool. Scratched it right there. I think I can fix that. And at least it's on the bottom. Okay, I have one more spot right here. This spot. There we go. Much better. And look, that scratch right there. Let's try Michelle's product, a little Resin Restore. I got a little much on there. This stuff dries instantly. And as you can see, no more scratch. Is that a scratch? That might be a scratch. Now that's something in there. That's a piece of something in there. But yeah. No more scratch. No more scratch. But there's the front of it. It's an interesting mold. It had a couple of pores. This, I don't know, looks like stone or something. But there you go. Okay, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Hit the black bell so the next time I upload a video, you are notified. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.